Imagine you're a business owner relying on a dozen different software programs. Each one is expensive, overly complicated, and worst of all, none of them are connected. It can be incredibly stressful, right? Now, picture Odoo. CRM, accounting, inventory, manufacturing, marketing, HR, and more. Odoo brings all the tools your business needs into one simple platform, and all seamlessly connected. Everything works together, giving you the peace of mind that your business is running smoothly from every angle. Odoo's open-source applications are user-friendly and designed to scale with your business, saving you time and money. Say goodbye to juggling multiple platforms and hello to efficient integrated management. Stop wasting resources on complicated systems and make the switch to Odoo today. Visit odoo.com, ODOO.com, and discover how Odoo can simplify and streamline your business operations. Odoo, modern management made simple.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside Out Smile. I'm your host, Dr. Amber Q, and I'm delighted that you've joined me today because today I'm going to have a chat about a conversation that I had, which was really interesting. And it was it was a conversation that took an unexpected turn, but it was just so wonderful, and it was so deep that it kind of felt as if it was a bit of a sign. So I feel as if, gosh, that was deep, wasn't it? It feels as if I should have labelled this podcast episode Signs Part 2. But essentially what happened was I was having a conversation with someone that I've never spoken with previously. It was online and it was a normal kind of business type of conversation. It wasn't meant to be deep. It wasn't meant to have, there was no intention to speak about faith, destiny, soulmates. But we started speaking, and I can't remember who said what, but I'm generally quite an open person, and she was absolutely lovely. And as we spoke, something just kind of shifted, and the conversation just unfolded on its own, like it had its own gravity. And we ended up having such an amazing talk. She opened up about her life. So she was from the UK, but she was actually in a different country on a different time zone. And funnily enough, we were meant to have the conversation the day before, but the conversation was postponed, which was fine. But it was just that I had a meeting, and then funnily enough, the meeting time got changed, which was really interesting. So we were able to speak for longer, but I would have liked to have spoken for even longer because it was just so fascinating, because we spoke about so many things, like literally her childhood, about faith, about destiny, about soulmates. Then I was telling her about how in Islam, in terms of soulmates, because she seemed really sort of like, she was like, oh my gosh, soulmates, it just feels so, and she was telling me about how she's so aligned with her partner. And it wasn't that she was kind of being oh, it's so romantic. She was just very grounded, and she had so much clarity, which was lovely. So I was saying that in Islam, there is a concept that if you really get on with someone, if you feel aligned to them and you're attracted to them, and obviously I don't mean physically, but if you're attracted to them, their aura, their personality, whatever, to the person, it could be that your souls were aligned, were grouped together in a previous realm. And similarly, if you weren't grouped together with another soul and you're with them on earth, you're eventually going to separate. So, and she loved that. And I think that's so amazing myself anyway. And then we ended up speaking about, she was telling me how she'd followed sort of the Palestinian cause even previously. And it was just beautiful, and how she felt inspired by their sort of belief. And it was just such a wonderful conversation. And it was really obvious that she's evolving, she's awakening, that she's becoming more spiritually aware of who she is and what she's seeking. And honestly, it was just a fantastic conversation, because she was obviously thinking and articulating, what am I missing? What am I longing for? What am I being called towards? And I think we can all ask ourselves that question in moments of quiet reflection. And I think that, I don't know, it was just, we spoke about so many things, because I do personally feel that soulmates, I do believe that that's a spiritual connection with someone. And I feel that, she was speaking about how they help each other to grow, and, they're so aligned in their values. And these are relationships that, that last, right? And she was kind of like, oh, we tested each other out and it was fantastic. And then she recognized that alongside her own sort of personal growth, alongside her relationship. And it's just so interesting. And it was fascinating the way our conversation had aligned, because she was speaking about the fact that she wanted to look into things a year ago and she didn't. And then I was kind of like, oh, really? And I was like, oh, I can send you some stuff. And she was like, yeah, please do. And so it was so funny, right? Because if she'd looked at things maybe a year ago, I don't know, maybe the conversation would have been in a different place. So it just felt like, I don't know, I don't believe in coincidences. So I do feel that maybe there was some divine timing and synchronicity in our conversation. I say there may have been. Of course there was, because there is in everything. I don't know. And I just feel that conversation arrived at the perfect moment. So it was really lovely. And we spoke about so many things. And I felt as if, some signs arrive through timing, some signs arrive through people, and some through conversations that we never planned to have, right? I don't think either of us had planned to have that kind of a conversation. It was amazing. It was wonderful. It was really, really heartwarming. And on that note, something else that was really heartwarming was the fact that my podcast was in the iTunes charts in Qatar, which is amazing. So thank you to my listeners in Qatar, or Qatar, however you like to pronounce it. I feel really blessed. And yeah, thanks so much. That was really exciting. Such a pleasant surprise. But I really feel that, that really made me feel reflective upon my own life, having that conversation about, I don't know, where are we heading? And also it made me think about connection I'm always thinking about connection anyway. And obviously she was just fascinated by the fact that it was almost as if she couldn't believe it, that she'd found her soulmate. And I think when she was telling me about her childhood and her experiences, I don't know, she was just obviously really passionate. And so she felt very aligned with the way she was. And I think that was it was so lovely to see someone blossoming, and also, but someone who was also curious and open about other things. And she thought that she was the opposite when she was in the wrong environment. And so this is the great thing, right? She's actually blooming and blossoming in the right environment. And I think that's the thing. How many of us are in the wrong environment for ourselves? And I think the sad thing is, obviously, we're speaking about sort of signs and things and synchronicities, but there's so many people that are lonely and who are craving connection. And I really feel for that. I've seen so many people speak about that on different forums. And it does cross my mind that I should try and create some sort of community, because I think it's so important for humans to care for each other. And it's just awful that people are just isolated. People of various ages are isolated. They're living alone. Even if they're not living alone, they're unable to tell others maybe that they're lonely. Some people openly state that they're lonely, but they're living in geographically, remote places. I don't know whether that's a city or whether that's just a different country. I don't know. So what I would urge everyone to do is to smile, strike up conversations wherever you can. I don't mean in an inappropriate way, but, to your neighbour, to just be kind. Just be kind to the person in the store. Maybe if you see someone feeling a bit lost. I mean, honestly, I will chat to anyone, quite frankly. I quite enjoy speaking to strangers. I think it's quite nice to strike up conversations and just hear different points of view. And it is different when you do these things in real life as opposed to being online. But I'm so blessed that people that I've spoken with online, I've met them in real life. I mean, they have all been women, but I've really made some good friends, and we're still kind of in touch, and they're kind of Instagram friends. So it's just nice, isn't it? And I think it's so interesting as well, because as one looks back over one's life, you can think about the various things that you did, whether they're programs, jobs, whatever, where you've met different people. And it's so nice to be in touch with people that you've known over the years. I think that's just something very precious as well, because it's not the time. I mean, it's not necessarily the time that we've known someone. It is actually the impact that they've made in our life, I think, and in our hearts. I think that actually is the important thing. So time, because you can know someone for ages but kind of know them superficially. So I think those things are really important. But obviously, if we don't open ourselves up to those opportunities, then nothing's going to happen. So I'd like to encourage everyone, as I always do, and as I said, please do this safely and appropriately. But yeah, so just create connection, because you never know who is feeling what, and we can all do with a smile and a little conversation, a little sort of chatter to make the day pleasant. And yeah, so let's do that. Until the next episode, let's all create connection, and let's not just change lives, but save lives.